Hey, Bill. It's great to be with you as always, and the folks there with the ABC. You guys do an amazing job of keeping residents involved and engaged, and also keeping policymakers informed and engaged with the needs of the community there. So, I've been involved in a lot of meetings with you and without you with policymakers, and they always ask when you're not there, how are Bill and the ABC going to react to this? So. Um, appreciate what you guys do. Um, let's kind of go into a quick just session overview kind of thing. Every year session changes their schedule. So on the odd number years, like last year, session started in March, ended in May. This year, session begins in January. So right after the holidays, right at the beginning of the year, the 2026 session will start January 13th, go to about March, I think it's March 12th. So because there is no legislative election year right now, this November, they're able to do meetings. So they've already started committee meetings. They started in October. They have had meetings throughout the month of October and now into November. They had a session of meetings last week. This week they're back in the districts, and the next week back up in Tallahassee. So I'll be back up there with them again, starting the 17th, dealing with community association issues. I've got about 30 meetings, I think, set up with various legislators throughout the week, just hitting them every 15-minute meetings to get in and talk about issues that are important. The I think the main kind of takeaway going into this session is the leaders that are working on those legislators that are kind of focused on the condo world and condo bills over the last few years have realized that condo owners in particular have just taken a lot of change, and it has come at you guys fast and furious, and there really needs time for not only the owners, the management companies that advise them, the attorneys and professionals that advise you, the banking community, the lenders that provide for financing of the various repairs and such, the Department of Business Professional Regulation and the Division of Condos that oversees and regulates these things to kind of figure out what all is going on. And this summer, there was some discussion and some meetings, and these legislators were saying to DBPR, "Hey, we've asked for rulemaking on the election changes that we've made on owners form, et cetera. Where are those changes?" And they'd said, "Oh, well, we've got them ready to go. We can implement these rules. But because we know session starts in January and you guys will make changes again, we're going to hold off." And when I heard that, I said, that's not going to be helpful, because with that attitude, I mean, there's a session every year. They could never get anything done. I said, so they need to come forward and come out with their stuff, and maybe let's give condos a bit of a breather as far as making wholesale legislative changes this year. And from both the House and the Senate, and I believe the governor's office as well, that is the approach to just take it easy on condos. Certainly, there's some tweaks and some things that we need to get right, but not dealing with these wholesale changes that we've seen happen over the last couple of years. And so that's the approach. There's things that deal with, like the hotel condo issue, termination, the electronic voting issue that DBPR is supposed to provide some rules for. Those issues I think will be addressed, but some of these other issues as it relates to SERS won't. Giving bankers and lenders a time. We have a meeting next week with the Florida Bankers Association to bring some concerns as it relates to these lines of credit and other things. And so working on that. Also have a meeting with the head of Citizens, Tim Serio, on Monday of next week in Tallahassee to talk about also this issue as it relates to the insurance industry. And a lot of folks are still with Citizens, but they're the ones kind of driving this the need for, say, roofs more so than the professional reserve study that might be being done, an inspection of a roof that may say, "Hey, you've got a remaining useful life. We've inspected it. We've been on the ground. We've seen it. You have a remaining useful life of 7 years. And then you have DBPR just based on their manual and or I'm sorry, not DBPR, Citizens, just based on their manual, the age of the roof, the type of construction, the type of roof. They're just saying, oh, that roof needs to be replaced next year or in 2 years, or else we will no longer write you coverage. And so we're pushing back on that, saying, look, the roof should not be driven, or the need to replace a roof or repair a roof shouldn't be driven by just the insurance carrier. If we now have, and in times past, that was the only inspection maybe being done, but now we certainly have things now like a SIRS, a milestone. So let's tie that together. So if your SIRS says, hey, you have 7 years of remaining useful life on this roof, then let's utilize that. So those kinds of changes, we definitely want to make sure. We've had meetings with the leadership there of the ABC, and various communities, also constituencies of the ABC that are partners with us, like Eckerd College and others, with the Department of Transportation. So they are certainly aware of the issue as it relates to Dolphin Cay, the construction going on there, Marina Cay, the intersection with the Bayway, making those turns. We need to get that traffic control worked. I think we had a good introductory discussion. They were going to go back and look at some things. They had done a study, but when they had done the study was at a time when we knew that we did not have the same traffic that we would have if you had done the study, if they had done a study at a different time of the year, because of just the seasonal traffic increases. So they said, when is, and so because of that, we didn't meet this threshold. Said, when do you guys plan and determine when you think your highest traffic would be happening? Do a study, then we'll look at that. Say maybe that's February or something. Look at that, and then we can meet that threshold of needing some additional traffic control. So that's being done. We talked about the improving of the landscaping, working also with they've got a vendor, DOT, that hasn't been great. We were able to express some of that, saying we need to do, this really is, and Bill says it often, this is really kind of a gateway to not just our county, but to the beaches in Tampa Bay. It's just an iconic, you would want the driveway to your home, that curb appeal, to look good. It will help with so much, just in for our visitors, but also just in property value and other things, to really make that look good and shine. So we're working on that. So we've got a punch list of things that we're hitting. And we look forward to getting your feedback. It's very important. You get that to Bill and to other members of the ABC, and then they certainly get it to me, and we can get that to policymakers, or you can certainly be getting it to those policymakers directly. Cheney, Senator DeSegli, and others are listening. So thanks for your time. And